CG Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. HD2 Northport and W265CG Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. A Townsville media station.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there. And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you could pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and our running back coach didn't take the pass. biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, Martin, you're hot in 3, 2, 1.
Good morning and welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial, the Martin Houston Show fan page, the Martin Houston Live fan page on Facebook, at Martin Houston 35 on Twitter. It is a beautiful Thursday morning and we're live and local and want to encourage you to be a part of the program. 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. The Taco Casa hotline is open for business, so give us a call. Let us know what's on your mind, what you want to talk about, get into on this edition of the Martin Houston Show, the Sound of Bama Sports. Your show, your team. Remember this, trust that today is a day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, serve someone, love someone. Decide to be the difference you want to see in the world today. Got a lot of different topics. Gonna hit on really quick here in this first segment. Some surprising news. And will there be more? With some recent news coming out from the Capstone. Also, Mark Emmert called out yesterday by the committee up at Congress is looking at name, image, and likeness. So we'll get into that conversation as well. And of course, we'll kick off the second half of the program with our weekly catch up with recruiting guru Hank South, 247 Sports Bama Online Recruiting. Good morning, Joe. How you doing, sir?
Doing great today, Martin. Having a good Thursday. Ready to see what we get into with Hank South and much more.
All right. Well, just a couple things around news coming out of Atlanta. Calvin Ridley had some minor surgery. Little bit of conversation and scuttlebutt about him not being at OTAs, but come to find out, nothing to it other than him having some minor foot surgery and expected to be back and ready for the spring. For camp this summer. So that's good news for the Atlanta Falcons, especially since Julio Jones has departed and is in Knoxville. Let me ask you a quick question. Something it could lead to a whole conversation, but it was just something as I was just reading and doing some prep that crossed my mind. Hadn't put a lot of thought behind it. Does Julio Jones going to the Titans enhance or diminish Derrick Henry's chances of becoming a not just three-time, but consecutive rushing titles?
Ooh, Martin, I think that is a great question because you can argue that Julio is going to take away some opportunities
Right.
for Derrick Henry, but you could also argue that Julio is going to present opportunities for Derrick Henry with less men in the box.
Right.
You're going to have to respect both AJ Brown and Julio Jones. And if you want to double team one of those guys, you're left a little bit in alert with the rest of the Titans offense. I'm gonna just I'm gonna say that he hurts his chances, but I'm on the fence on that. I think he hurts his chances just slightly, but I'm on the fence on that. I think there's an equal argument to be made that he does help his chances.
Yeah, well, and that's like I told you, I like sometimes when you're doing prep work, questions just kind of pop in your head that you hadn't done a lot of thought. That may be something we come back to and look at later. I guess the question becomes, if he wins it, his average per carry goes up, I think. If that makes sense. I think he has more longer runs, more big runs as a result of fewer people being in the box. But I don't see his carries necessarily going up with a Julio Jones being on the team, but I could see his average going up, which could put him in that position once again to do it. But think about what Julio meant for Alabama. It wasn't Julio was as important when he was at Alabama for his timely receptions and his blocking as he was for just being a devastating, dominant wide receiver. And Joe, sometimes when you get older as a player, the threat of what you do becomes greater, or what you can do becomes greater than what you can actually do sometimes. So, like I said, it was a question I hadn't thought a lot about. We may have to dig back into it, but or at least revisit it when we get back into the football season. So, but that was one of the topics that if you want to talk about it this morning, you can bring that up. KB Sides, wow, transferring from Alabama. Shocked, Joe, that 134 games over the last 3 years, an extra year of eligibility, and she's going to use that to most likely transfer somewhere else. Thoughts?
Oh, it's going to be really sad to see KB Sides play in another uniform because she has done really well for us over the course of her 4 or 5 years. But I have a suspicion, and I've heard for just in talks that she may be transferring for academic reasons to pursue a specific graduate degree.
And that would make a lot of sense. That didn't appear or doesn't appear to be anything from a programming standpoint. But it'll be interesting to see. Have you heard where she may land?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I was just kind of putting pieces together from a couple softball people over the evening because there was a lot of upset and hurt feelings about KB going into the transfer portal. But I think that the insinuation may be that there's an academic reason behind it.
Okay, because she's a local Alabama kid from Dora, and so unless something unknown to us has happened within the program, if that's why she's leaving, Joe, that's exactly the use for the rule. I mean, absolutely, 100%. The reason the grad transfer rule, I think, is a beautiful thing. If this young lady is transferring so that she can finish out and round out her education, one of the commercials that the NCAA does that I actually do agree with, and I think they do a good job with, Joe, is that the majority of the college athletes, no matter how good and talented they are as college athletes, will go professional in something other than sports. And so if that's why KB is transferring, kudos to her and wishing her nothing but the best, but will be a little different looking out on that Crimson Tide field and and knowing that she will be gone. But that's a huge blow to this Alabama softball team that already had a lot of seniors that they're anticipating losing, and I would have anticipated that they thought they would have had KB Sides back for one more season. So Team 25 made a nice run, but looked like Coach Murph may be in a rebuild, restock, maybe he just restocks mode at Alabama softball. So got a couple other topics to get to, but we do have a caller waiting, so we'll get to that and then come back on the other side and get into a couple other conversations. Super Joe, you're on with Martin Houston in the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Oh, man, everything all great. And how you feel? I appreciate you taking my call, partner.
No, I'm feeling good, man.
So. Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, man. I mean, how much feedback are y'all getting on, like, the 7-on-7 drills at the UA? How much feedback y'all get? We get.
I haven't gotten. I'm not hearing a lot on it from, but Super Joe, I have not looked for any feedback on it. So that I guess that would be the best way to say that. Joe, you heard anything?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Plus, I know I do hear about pretty soon they're gonna be coming with the media guides and stuff. That normally comes in August and stuff. But does anybody got anything on fan day? Anybody know when that's supposed to be coming? Fan day?
I have not.
Okay, I know there's probably been no date confirmed yet, but I know they got a lot of people spending the night out there and stuff like that. But
Super Joe, it's usually that week. I mean, you can look for fan day be somewhere around the week of that first weekend or so of Alabama. If it's based on when he starts, if it's too close to, if he starts on a Friday or Saturday, a Thursday, Friday, then it may be that following weekend, but it'll be the first Saturday or the second Saturday from the time they report to camp, if it's like it usually is.
Yeah, because I want to think about me. I know everybody told they want to get the start, but here's the way I look at it. I like to get those little fresh, and then when the new signing guys, I like to catch them before they get famous. It's like one time everybody was running one time on Sunday to the offense. I walked over to the defense, but then while everybody running to the defense, I walked over to the offense, and then it was still like 19 minutes left, still left to go. So you see, thing about it is, it's like to catch them while they're young, and see, because they say, when somebody said, why would you do that? They're not the one start, but see, you don't wait for nobody to get started in Alabama, and then ask for their autograph. You catch it before they get famous. By the time they start getting more touchdowns and start getting more popular, you can say, I've already got that autograph.
Yeah,
that's a wise way to do it.
Yeah, and Super Joe, when it comes to that, these kids come in famous now. So appreciate you, Super Joe. But that is a good strategy, Super Joe. I employed that super strategy after we beat Notre Dame in the Super Bowl. National championship game. In the national championship game, everybody was going to get Coach Saban, while everybody was trying to get Coach Saban, I figured I'd get whatever he said. I went and got a special story one-on-one with Terry Saban, and of course I was working for a Christian radio station, and I talked to her. So I took a little different angle than everybody else did as well. So thanks, Super Joe. I appreciate you, sir.
Well, Marty, thanks for taking my call. See you later too, Joe, man.
All right. Coming back on the other side, we will continue the conversation. We're talking about, like I said, man, we have so many different things to talk about, but Calvin Ridley's foot surgery, he's going to be great and back. Is Derrick Henry poised to have a three-peat as the Russian champion? KB Sides in the news, in the transfer portal. We can talk about those issues. Also, Mark Emmert called out by former Tennessee congressperson, as well as name, image, and likeness conversation happening up in Washington. We can talk about that. Big recruiting news happening. And a Clemson dad talks about why his son may be in Tuscaloosa. We'll talk about that and more right here on the Martin Houston Show. That up next.
The big brands you know and trust: Goodyear, Firestone, Bridgestone, Cooper, and they can finance for you as well. When you need routine maintenance and alignment, a tune-up, whatever it is, belts, hoses, just basic stuff, or when you don't know what's wrong with your car, truck, or SUV, make it Tuscaloosa Tire and Service. They're dependable, they're trustworthy. That's why they've lasted for over 36 years. Skyland Boulevard, McFarland Boulevard East in Northport on Lurleen Wallace Boulevard. Check out the website TuscaloosaTireandService.com.
At Bowles Builders, demand is through the roof. To keep up, this business needs a stronger foundation.
Just one sec. Bowles Builders, this is Bow. This weekend? Yeah, we can do it.
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
There's a lot of talk about getting back to the way things were. But what does that mean? Does it mean getting back to feeding our community? Is it about getting back to moving Earth? Or planting the seeds of the future? For the folks who run with us, there is no going back. Because they've never stopped working towards a better tomorrow. Together, we run forward. Nothing runs like a deer. Learn more at johndeere.com.
Honey, what are you doing?
Oh, learning how to be a hibachi chef.
Why?
Well, it was so easy to get an auto loan from Navy Federal Credit Union, I needed something more challenging.
Heads up.
Do not throw that shrimp at me.
With decisions in seconds and rates as low as 1.79% APR, Navy Federal makes it so easy to finance a car.
Onion volcano.
You might want to try harder things. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Credit and collateral subject to approval. Rates subject to change and are based on credit worthiness. Advertised rate available for new vehicles. Insured by NCUA.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Cloudy at times with scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms across West Alabama today and tonight. The high today 84, tonight's low 70. Tomorrow a mixture of clouds and sunshine with scattered showers and thunderstorms. The high 87. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 69 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophomart Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at sophmartdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. Thanks to the great folks over at Alabama One Credit Union. We're able to be here live and local each and every day. If you're in the market for a mortgage, then there's a great promotion going on up to $2,000 cash back, not an add-on to your loan, but literally cash back in your pockets. No admin fees, no processing fees. You're going to save on your closing with Alabama One. Go check them out. You can apply online or you can stop by the main branch location at 1215 Veteran Memorial Parkway, right there off of what we old folks knew as 15th Street. So stop by Alabama One, check out a mortgage, and then, of course, other great products and services, including consumer loans, auto loans, boats, motorcycles. You can get some financial wellness advice. You can get wealth advisory, investment advice. You can also get insured with Alabama One Insurance. It can be your one-stop stop for all your financial needs. That's Alabama One, alabamaone.org. All right, we got a couple people that were patiently waiting, so we'll go ahead and get to the phone lines and then get back to that conversation we had teased before the break. Good morning, Robert. How you doing, sir?
Hey, man.
Hey, now.
I hate to take you back to the college football playoffs.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
The first chance I've had the chance to listen to you.
No, go right ahead.
I may be contrarian to this, but I actually think it's a good idea. We've been watching bowl games lately. College football is the second most popular sport in America, and it has the absolute most boring postseason to be the second most popular.
I can agree with that.
Now they have players don't even want to show up anymore for the game.
Yep.
And like Dan Mullen was correct when he said that team that he played against Oklahoma was not his team. It wasn't his team. It wasn't his team that half his players didn't want to show up for.
Right.
And it's been the same case over and over again at there's several bowl games over the last several years. Like Nick Saban said, which once again shows why he's ahead of the curve and is the GOAT, that he knew the playoff would ruin the bowl, destroy the bowl series. And of course he was correct. The bowl series and the postseason bowl games are just pointless now. Nobody hardly wants to watch them, and kids don't even want to show up for them. I only watched maybe 2, maybe 3 bowl games that I was really interested in. That some effort was put into it, and 2 of them were Alabama. The rest of them, and even the Florida bowl game, that was a big major bowl, and they still didn't want to show up for it.
Right.
So the bowl games are coming.
Right.
I looked at the list of games that would have been on. We had a 12-team playoff this year, and I'd want to watch Texas A&M against Oregon and Georgia against, I forgot who was Georgia, I think Cincinnati. I want to watch that. I'd want to see all those games, and they would be meaningful because hey, you still got a chance.
Yeah, and I mean I totally agree that it could do something to help the bowl. I guess a question I would have for you, Robert, is would you make the question now becomes, do you make them a part of the bowls or do you have them at home on campus?
Well, you're absolutely right. You have them on home on campus. There's you have to throw that into the mix. At least you get to that college football playoff and they can be bold. But those need to be at home. And the increasing gains should cost us something. And that should be the thought, which about if I had my way, people probably wouldn't do it. Is you lose some regular season games. You can't ask these student athletes to play all these extra games and without getting paid or any compensation. So you either give them some compensation or you cut or you shorten the season. Although I wouldn't be opposed to giving them compensation, financial compensation myself, but I guess it's how you work that out. That'd be very difficult. But you definitely shorten the season. You definitely lose some games during the regular season. Like you lose about 2 of them.
Yeah. But
it would definitely help make the bowl season more exciting. Which right now it's the most boring postseason in sports. It's the second most popular sport. Your regular season sports is fantastic. And I know people can say, well, we finished the regular season. You played the game, Bart. You know football is really short, a short season.
Yeah.
Those games don't get diminished. You still want to win every one because you don't have that many to win.
Correct. So let's see if they went to 12 games based on the last ranking. Tell me whether you'd be intrigued by this. It'd be Texas A&M and Coastal Carolina, week 1 at Texas A&M. Oklahoma at Indiana. Florida at Iowa State. All right. Am I doing it right? Yeah, 5 to 12. Yep. And Cincinnati and Georgia. It'd be a couple good games. Go ahead. You still there?
Sure. I would watch, because this is a playoff game. The same reason why we watch playoff games in the NFL against teams that I couldn't care one whit about one way or the other.
Right.
But I know when I know it's a playoff game, I know, hey, I'm gonna these guys unless one team is just overwhelmingly dominant from the other, I'm gonna at least get their all the best effort for a few quarters or a few 2 minutes. But with the bowl games, like I know half of Dan Mullen's team wasn't there. So what was the meaning of Oklahoma blowing them out? It meant nothing. Now Oklahoma blows them out. All his players are there, and they're really fine. All right, then. Hey, okay, Florida, you probably wasn't as good as we thought you were.
Hey, look at this. Most likely games for a week. The second week would be Texas A&M and Notre Dame. Ohio State and Oklahoma, Clemson and Florida, and Georgia and Alabama.
And you, and again, you get these kids already engaged. You know they're all there. You know they really want to win. And like you said with Eastern Carolina, hey, okay, now you know how good that team is. You know at least they're confident. They're confident now because they played the full season and they ran their schedule. And so, okay, this is at least a confident team. Let's see what they can really do now. Beginning of the season, I wouldn't know who would anything about them. So if Texas A&M blew them out, well, yeah, we don't know how this team is. At the end of the season, all right, you know how good all these teams are now.
Yeah.
And all of them are good at certain. They're good at certain levels, but they're all good teams at that point.
Okay. Hey, listen. I'm for expansion. 12 was an interesting number, but I would not be opposed to it. But I would say the hypocrisy of the NCAA talking about player safety, and yet they're not adjusting anything to reduce the number of games these kids play, and they're also making rules that benefit the offense, which allow the average play per game to continue to go up. As far as just the number of plays with the speed of the offenses, you're asking these kids to play more games per play. I mean, more plays per game, as well as more games per season. So I think there would have to be some type of compromise on that side.
Right, it would cost that, which is why you probably wouldn't buy it. It wouldn't work because what school who's not going to make the playoffs would want to lose those 2 games. But yeah, that should cost them. It should be 2 games. We should lose 2 regular season games.
Yep, that's a lot of money. But that's why that's why I say that this is going to ultimately lead to the haves and the have-nots being 2 different divisions in college football. Because if you don't reduce it, now you're talking about Alabama potentially. Alabama, of course, Nick Saban would have made every playoff except for his first year, at somehow, some way, and his number, his 10-3 team. May have won the championship with the 12-game series. A 12-game playoff, because that team at the end of the year, even though they had some rough bumps, they finally got it together. May have been the best team in the country at that point, but it's just, that's asking a lot, especially with December the way it is with finals, and that's when the guys finally get a break and go see family, and you change all of that, and then they have to turn right back around, and it seems like spring ball is getting earlier and earlier every year. So there have to be some changes.
Yeah, that's why, I know people don't want to hear this, but compensating these guys financially for that, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting rich off of that, except the person with the most to lose. And now, okay, you want these extra games, and it's a playoff. Okay, I'll buy a little financial compensation for that.
Yeah.
But, I know it's opening up a can of worms, but I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah, at least I think the name, image, and likeness is well on his way with some of the things happening up in DC. So we'll see if at least they get that will give those guys more opportunities to create their brand. And then those who don't make it to the playoffs, if they know what they're doing and know how to market themselves and learn how to do it, they can all make money. And even the Olympic sports that don't have the same number of eyes, they can create some value with name, image, and likeness. So, all right. Well, I appreciate it, Robert, man.
Okay, man.
Have a good one. All right. One note, CJ Watson said, my vote would be home games until a Final or Final Four type situation, assuming 12-team expansion. That's a lot of travel for fan bases. Otherwise, fans of teams expected to win it all would likely not travel in huge numbers until the championship game. Most regular folk have to save up for one game, much less 4 games. And that's what you would be looking at if a team were to make the complete run. So I think it would have to definitely have some home games. Coming back on the other side, we'll get with recruiting guru Hank South, 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting. That conversation up next.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no wrecks, but another rainy morning. We got to report a tree down on Milldale Road out in Brookwood, so just slow down, turn your lights and wipers on, and be careful. And if you see conditions, please give us a call. Come see the great selection of new Nissans at TNT, Townsend Nissan of Tuscaloosa, where you'll get top dollar for your trade. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to babbel.com today. That's BABBEL.com.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, bro. You're hot. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show. Overflow Express Wash. Go check them out. Location in Northport as well as Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. 2 locations to better serve you. A great family atmosphere, helping you keep your car clean inside and out. Showroom clean, as a matter of fact. That's Overflow Express Wash. Go to the website, overflowexpresswash.com, and find out more details about the membership packages, the unlimited wash packages. But if you just need a basic wash, you can get that as low as $7. So go check them out, Overflow Express Wash. Andy Phillips and his team are waiting to make you a part of their team. All right, it's time for us to have a little conversation with Hank South, 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting. Good morning, Hank. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's going on, Martin? I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Well, it's official. We've now started back on campus visits, recruiting, little noise happening in terms of the Crimson Tide. Give us an update on the latest.
Yeah, it's been a busy couple weeks to start with this dead period getting lifted and visits returning. Obviously, Bama's already hosted, I guess, 4 camps, which they're doing a series of one-day camps. So, they've been doing those pretty often, getting guys on campus, working them out, seeing how they look. They're also doing, individual workouts with guys that aren't camping. So, we've seen a lot of that too. And then, of course, big official visitors weekend to kick things off. Last weekend, they had 7 total official visitors, which is pretty big for any weekend, not, let alone the first one back right out of the gate. Guys like Barry Brown, Shamar James, Jacob Sexton, Jake Taylor, Kenyatta Jackson, Aaron Anderson, and then, of course, Bama got big news from Le'Veon Moss, the 4-star running back from Baton Rouge, who took an official visit to Tuscaloosa and then committed following the weekend. So,
was that expected? Was that commitment expected, or was that kind of a pleasant surprise?
He didn't. The thing with Le'Veon Moss is, and he doesn't really say much, so there wasn't really a timeline. But I guess somewhat of a pleasant surprise. But Bama was one of the 2. He had been mentioning Alabama and LSU as the 2 schools recruiting him hardest. So not a shock. Bama's been really high on him, and obviously it's been working to add a second running back. So maybe timing wise, maybe a surprise, but as far as him picking Bama, not as much.
Okay. All right. What are they getting in that? Go ahead and finish. I'm gonna come back to that question. Go ahead.
No problem. Yeah, I mean that was big news for the weekend. I think Bama really made some strides with a lot of guys, especially guys like Jake Taylor. I think they really kind of upped their chances for him. Barry and Brown, I think they were already in really good shape for him entering the weekend, but I think even more so now. Shamar James, I think they've always been in good shape for him. Kenyatta Jackson too. I think they really helped themselves. But overall, really big weekend. This weekend ahead of us. Currently, there are no official visitors expected that I'm aware of at this point. But that's obviously that could change on a dime. And then the June 18th weekend, June 25th weekend. Those are 2 loaded official visitors weekends as well. So more camps to come, more official visitors to come. So it's going to be pretty action-packed the rest of the month as it's already been.
All right. That's awesome. Let's get Pat in. Pat, you're on with Hank South 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting, and the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning. Good morning, Hank. I want to talk about a defensive tackle that's decommitted from Georgia. And this guy's name is Keeping the Bear. Oh, my Lord. Hey, does he not belong in Tuscaloosa or what? And my question is he on par with the defensive tackle out of Tennessee? I think his name's Nolan.
Yeah, I think so. He's a big-time talent. The guy that has been high on for a while. He actually, I just learned yesterday or the day before yesterday, he's taking an official visit to Alabama on that June 25th weekend. So that's already, a ton of guys expected that weekend. We just added him to the list. I think it's 9 official visitors that weekend so far. So it's going to be really, really busy. But yeah, he decommitted from Georgia earlier this week, or I guess Sunday or Monday, whichever. He's scheduled to officially visit Miami this weekend, and then he's doing Bama the 25th. There's a lot of buzz about Texas A&M with him right now. Georgia actually had 2 decommits in the last few days, him and Deion Bowie, who I think is getting some Texas A&M buzz as well. But Bear Alexander, obviously, he's from Fort Worth, or from the Dallas Fort Worth area. He actually played at Denton Ryan, which obviously is Drew Sanders' high school. So Bama has some connections there. But we'll see. I think they have a chance. I think Texas A&M is probably the favorite if you're trying to pick a school right now. But we'll see how that official visit goes. He's never been to Tuscaloosa, so we'll see if Bama can make some noise for him here in a few weeks.
One more quick question about him. From what I can see, some of the other services have him rated higher than 24/7. Has 24/7 had a chance to see him in person on the hoof and working out?
Yeah, actually, Gabe Brooks, who does rankings for us, he actually I think lives pretty close to him. So they've seen him. He's ranked 81 in the country by us right now. We'll see where that ends up. But they've had a chance to see him. I think he was hurt, or no, he missed part of the season last year because he transferred into his high school where he was playing. But we'll see where he ends up in the rankings. But I can't really speak for those guys. They'd give you a better explanation than me.
I got you, because he's ranked as high as 9 in some services, and I just was curious if y'all have a chance to actually evaluate him. Anyway, hey, have a blessed day, Hank. We'll try to come up with a better question next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Pat. Speaking with Hank South, 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting. Hank South. Hank, we have a Clemson dad speaking out in regards to Nick Saban, Big Dave. Make sure I say this right. Uiagalelei. He said, "I'm not going to lie. I'm just being honest. After my meeting with Nick Saban, I can honestly see. I think he said his name, Mateo." Suiting up for Alabama is something about a father recognizing and respecting another father's hard work and love for their kids. Nick Saban gets it. Some coaches don't. This is the younger brother of Clemson quarterback DJ Uiagalelei. And what's interesting about this, they're about the same size, actually. What year is the younger brother? He's standing at 6'5", 265, but he's a defensive lineman versus a quarterback.
Yeah, he's a class of 2023. He was at Bama this week. And like you just read off, his dad had some pretty high praise for Nick Saban. It's amazing, like, we see all these different situations where it's just, like, great recruiting buzz for Alabama. And it's like, whether it's the NFL draft, whether it's somebody that says something, or, that the 5-star graphic that, 50% of Bama 5-stars go to are drafted in the first round. Like, all sorts of stuff always comes out. And now you got Clemson star quarterback dad saying he kind of, he really likes Alabama for his other son. But no, I mean, it's not surprising. Like, even, back in the recruiting process with DJ, I mean, he was saying great things about Alabama. I mean, they have a lot of respect for Alabama. Obviously, Bama wasn't one of his finalists, or obviously he went to Clemson, but they were talking really highly of Alabama back then too. So it's not a huge shock. We'll get Mateo on the phone here sometime in the next few days to kind of get a breakdown of his visit. But we've got him. He's actually pretty highly ranked in the class of 2023. Number 15 overall player per our ranking, 6'4", 255. He's a big time prospect. I think Clemson just offered him on this swing of visits they're on as well. So maybe it turns into a Bama Clemson thing for him going forward.
Yeah, it's just hard to believe. You look at him and put a number 5 on him, and he looks just like his brother who plays quarterback. So interesting. The tale of two brothers. We'll see what happens there. What other news has LT made it to campus? The top recruit from 2023.
Yeah, he did. He camped on that last Saturday, 5th.
Okay.
So he visit. Obviously, he's got ties to Tuscaloosa, having lived there before. But he spoke to Steve Wiltfong about the trip. I think left a really good impression. I think Steve is actually saying he thinks Bama is trending in this recruitment. He's got that crystal ball to OU, but he thinks Bama is probably in one of the better spots for him right now. Obviously, he's number 1 recruit in the nation. He's not going to make a decision here anytime soon. So, we'll keep following these visits. But sounds like Bama made a really good impression, and is seriously on the short list for him, not just one of his top schools, but maybe his top school at this point.
Yeah, his dad being an OU player, so I guess that probably has a little give OU a little inside scoop on it, but him having worked here in Tuscaloosa may give the Tide the bump up. Nick Saban got a big contract extension to going from 2025 to 2029, February 2029, coaching through the 2028 season, and he subsequently immediately offers Davy Belfort. I mean, this quarterback, I mean, the kid looks like he's about 5'5", but I guess he's 5'10", 5'11", 165 pounds, hasn't played his first down of high school football, but he threw for coach and the coaching staff, and they loved him and made an offer. What does Alabama have in the, if they were able to land this kid at this point in his career? What are you seeing about him?
Not I don't know too much about him. Honestly, he hasn't played football yet.
Right.
But yeah, talked about Nick Saban liking the way he throws the ball, move around in the pocket. So Nick Saban likes him, can see the potential. He's probably pretty good. Andrew Ivins, our South Florida guys, caught up with him about his interview. He's actually the son of MMA legend, I guess Vitor Belfort.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got some ties to some pretty big time athlete, but we'll see how he develops over the next few years. Would imagine he might grow a little bit more from 5'11", 165, but certainly playing at a big time program in Cardinal Newman and West Palm Beach. They've sent some big guys out of their program, so we'll see if he's the next one. But I guess that's their second 2025 offer so far, and the other one was a kid in Florida as well. So it's crazy to think these guys getting these offers now, but if they like him in camp, they want to get on him early. That's kind of what you have to do at this point. Arizona State and Florida Atlantic have also offered him already, so he's already had some buzz. But Bama's the first big time school that's coming on him.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I'll bring that up. Of course, we got plenty of time to talk about him, but if he has any of that nasty in him that his dad had, then Alabama's getting a true competitor. So kind of talk to us about the state of Alabama as far as this upcoming 2022 class, and what's the strongest part of this upcoming class? Not from the state of Alabama, not from Alabama football, but the state of Alabama recruits.
Right. I kind of look at the defensive line edge spot, or defensive line linebacker, kind of front seven guys on defense. Obviously, you got Jeremiah Alexander, who's on campus last weekend, 5-star edge rusher. You got Curtis Perry, top defensive lineman in the state from Montgomery. Then you got Robert Williard, obviously the Alabama commit, Justice Finkley, Shamar James. Those guys are all within the top 7 of the rankings. So I feel like that's kind of probably the strong suit of this class. And somebody asked me yesterday kind of how will Bama finish up in the state. And, looking at the rankings now, and obviously they're going to change. Rankings are adjusted throughout the cycle. But the top 7 guys right now, I could very realistically all see signing with Alabama.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you go through them, Jeremiah Alexander, Bama's in his top 2 or 3. He's saying Clemson's his leader right now, but I think he's having fun with the recruiting process. Manuel Henderson's already committed. Curtis Perry, I think, is leaning Bama. Traquan Fagans, I think, after his workout last week, I think is probably leaning Bama. Robert Woodyard committed. Justice Finkley very well could end up in this class. And Shamar James, I'd be surprised if he didn't end up in this class. So,
oh, wow.
Very realistic chance in that top 7 guys that they're ending up committing to Bama. And even beyond that, TJ Dudley's a guy that could end up in the class. Antonio Kite, Amari Kelly, those guys are outside the top 10. But 2 more guys in the state that are in the top 15 could certainly end up in the class as well. So it'll be a strong year regardless. If they don't land 7, they're going to land a handful of these guys. And, certainly that's what you want to see. Recruiting, in-state recruiting is the lifeblood of the program. So if that's strong, the program's strong. So certainly something they want to do.
All right. Hank South 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting. Hank, just tell our listeners if anything else you want to share with them, and then tell them where they can find you.
No, I mean, just pretty much stay tuned. You know, it's every day there's some sort of news, whether it's a new offer, new visitor, or visit getting scheduled, or even commitments. You know, it's a big month. bamaonline.com, and you know, we have a promo going, $1 for your first month if you want to try it out and see if you like it. But it's definitely a fun time to join. Even though it's the off season, you know, we got a lot to talk about with recruiting.
Yeah, this recruiting off season is really an opportunity to engage since we've not had real live visitors and on campus things. So if you want to stay in touch, stay tuned in. Follow at Hank South 247 Sports and get a subscription to Bama Online magazine. Thanks, Hank. We'll catch up with you next week.
Anytime. Thanks, Martin.
All right, coming back on the other side, we'll have the Martin Houston Show 2-minute warning.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we got a tree down on County Road 99. That's Milldale Road in Brookwood. Before the railroad tracks, it's about a quarter mile off to 16. Congestion on McFarland at US 43, 69 at Skyland. Come see the great selection of new Nissans at TNT, Townsend Nissan of Tuscaloosa, where you'll get top dollar for your trade. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread. Good morning. Alabama's in pretty good financial shape, according to Tuscaloosa Representative Chris England. The Democrat told a Chamber of Commerce of West Alabama gathering he's pleased with how the state financially weathered the pandemic. He saw executive orders emerge that helped many people, according to England. A town hall meeting set for tonight in Tuscaloosa City Council District 2. It will be at 6 o'clock at the McDonald Hughes Center. Keep up with local news, sports, and weather on TuscaloosaThread.com. It's free. I'm Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Carving. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Carving can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Carving. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Carving, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Carving can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Carving at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Carving, LLC.
Harry's back.
Can I get your attention? I like it when you smile.
Time to play. Harry Connick Jr. and his band.
That was great fun.
Performing songs from across his career.
One of those things.
Harry Connick Jr. Friday, August 27th, Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. Reserved seats on sale Friday at noon at Ticketmaster.com. Don't miss this very special engagement with Harry Connick Jr. and his 7-piece band. Time to play, part of the Coca-Cola concert series.
If you're in HR, you're probably wearing a lot of hats. Recruiter, team builder, trainer, mediator, policymaker, and of course, paper pusher. But not anymore. Bamboo HR is the #1 HR software for small and medium businesses. It manages all your employee data easily and automates countless tasks so you can focus on people, not paperwork. Bamboo HR frees you from spreadsheets so you can do your real job, creating a great place to work. If the data shuffle and paperwork mountain have you ready to hang up all your hats, you're ready for Bamboo. If you handle HR records and paperwork, Bamboo HR is a dream. Let us free up your time and put your days of pushing paperwork behind you so you can focus on the people and making your company a great place to work for everyone. Try PC Magazine's top pick for HR software free today. Just go to bamboohr.com/panda. This is a limited offer only available to radio listeners at bamboohr.com/panda. That's bamboohr.com/panda.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back into the 2-minute warning on the Martin Houston Show, presented today by Alabama One Insurance, AlabamaOneInsurance.com. bamaonline.com. Go check us out online. Big news coming out of Alabama softball. In case you missed the show earlier, KB Sides enters the transfer portal. Rumor has it that that it's about academics. Let's hope that that's what she's pursuing, and there's not anything going on in the program that would make her want to leave other than to better herself education-wise. Also, forgot to give a shout-out to Alabama's Devontae Smith winning the ASWA Amateur Athlete of the Year. The accolades continue to come in for that young man. Wishing him nothing but the best as he continues to pursue his contract. Calvin Ridley, foot injury. The only reason he's missing OTAs, nothing more, nothing less. He is expected to be back. And a question that just kind of popped up that we may give a little more insight into: does Julio Jones' addition to the Titans enhance or hurt Derrick Henry's run for 3 straight rushing titles in the NFL? We can talk about that on tomorrow if you like. And then, of course, Nick Saban continuing to get love from other coaches and dads from that have kids in other programs. Big Dave Oyungalele saying that his son will have an opportunity potentially to play for the Crimson Tide. So versus following older brother DJ Oyungalele to Clemson. So we'll keep our eyes on that. We'll keep our eyes on the recruiting process. And on tomorrow, we'll have a free-for-all Flashback Friday, an opportunity for you to be a part of that conversation. If you got a topic you want me to hit on, tweet it out at MartinHouston35, at MartinHouston35, and we'll bring it into the conversation. Thank you so much to all my great sponsors. Thank you to the listeners, the callers, the chatters, and my guests. That's Joe behind the glass. I'm Martin Houston. This is the Martin Houston Show. And remember this: trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide. And that wraps up the 2-minute warning presented by Alabama One Insurance. AlabamaOneInsurance.com. Have a blessed day, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.